Hello and welcome to our video series on the resurrection of Jesus. In today's segment, we're going to talk about the first of 5 facts concerning the resurrection of Jesus. So fact number 1, Jesus died by crucifixion. Historical Jesus scholars have established this fact on the basis of the following reasons. Firstly, the fact that Jesus died by crucifixion is attested in multiple independent biblical sources. According to the Gospels, Jesus was condemned by the Jewish High Court on the charge of blasphemy and then delivered to the Romans for execution for the treasonous act of calling himself the King of the Jews. These facts are also confirmed by other independent biblical sources like the Apostle Paul and the Acts of the Apostles. Secondly, the Romans were professional executioners. Roman procedures were very careful to make sure that the person on capital punishment was dead. Roman law even laid the death penalty on any soldier who let a capital prisoner escape in any way. Thirdly, medically speaking, Jesus could not have survived the crucifixion. It would be virtually impossible medically for Jesus to have survived the intense torture and crucifixion. The Romans, who were professional executioners, whipped and beat Jesus brutally to the point of his collapse. They then drove heavy nails through his wrists and feet and plunged a spear into his side. Crucifixion victims often died by asphyxiation because they couldn't push themselves up to breathe. Also, Pilate, knowing the importance of this case, checked to make sure that Jesus was dead. Now, not only did those in the first century believe Jesus was dead, modern medical doctors also believe Jesus actually died. Writing in March 21, 1986 edition of the Journal of the American Medical Association, 3 medical doctors concluded, and I quote, "Clearly, the weight of historical and medical evidence indicates that Jesus was dead before the wound to his side was inflicted and supports the traditional view that the spear thrust between his right rib probably perforated not only the right lung but also the pericardium and heart and thereby ensured his death." Accordingly, interpretations based on the assumption that Jesus did not die on the cross appear to be at odds with modern medical knowledge. End quote. The final piece of evidence we have is from non-Christian sources. Firstly, Jewish historian Josephus writes, and I quote, "At this time there appeared Jesus a wise man, for he was a doer of amazing deeds. When Pilate condemned him to the cross, the leading men among us have accused him. Those who loved him did not cease to do so." End quote. Secondly, Roman historian Tacitus writes, "Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty at the hands of our procurator Pontius Pilate." End quote. Thirdly, Lucian, the Greek satirist, refers to Jesus as a crucified sophist, philosopher. To sum it up, there is no historical account from Christians, Romans, or Jews that disputes Jesus' death. Even John Dominic Crossan, a skeptic, agrees that Jesus really lived and died, and I quote, "That he was crucified is as sure as anything historical can ever be." End quote. Jesus was clearly dead, and of that there was no doubt. Thank you so much for watching. We will meet again with the second fact concerning the resurrection of Jesus. God bless.